to spare the country of his hubris, arrogance and foolishness. Excuse my language, but how else would you describe a man who is engaged in the kind of charade that Tobiko is engaged in, conning the entire country that he is conserving the environment, yet all he is up to is ethnic profiling? A fraud.
A loser who couldn't even prosecute a fly when he was a DPP. Now he wants to flex his muscles on innocent children, on innocent expectant mothers who are living in the Mau, on vulnerable people who are staying in the Mau, and purporting to evict them. I tell him this today: we are not going anywhere.
Welcome back to Jeff Koinange live here at Citizen Television. The first voice you heard there was Cheruiyot Senator Cheruiyot talking about the CS for Environment. Also in the studio, Cherangani Member of Parliament Joshua Kutuny. They are on opposite sides of the debate on the Mau. The Mau seems to be a poisoned chalice when it comes to politics in this country. Senator, what is that? What is it with you and the CS? I mean,
you see, Jeff, what I was telling you earlier, that we had almost cracked this thing. And about 2016, the late PS Elmawi, God rest her soul, that lady did a brilliant job in the Mau. I'm sure the time that you overflew with the Mau,
yes,
you saw along, just on the border between the forest and the human activity, a tea plantation, about 100 meters, coming all the way up from Bomet up to the Narok side. But midway at around a place known as Tenduet, the whole exercise came to a stop. What that had achieved is that they had managed to demarcate the boundaries, and they had established and said, okay, this is the farthest, on this part it becomes a forest, on this particular part it is allowed to have human habitation. And therefore, at that particular point, and this is why I was correcting what Joshua Kutuny was saying earlier, that government has never done anything. Government has built roads in that particular place. It has built 15 schools, 1 up to 15, using taxpayers' money, done by this Jubilee administration. And this is why I am mad with CS Tobiko.
Inside trust land or inside forest land?
In the trust land. You know, this entire region of the trust land.
Okay.
So, just to finish your question, the reason I am mad with Tobiko is that he's taking us back where we already had been. We had sorted the issue of the boundary. Therefore, all that he needed to do was to ensure that he completed the project that his predecessors had done. You know, what the previous minister and the permanent secretary had done. Complete the demarcation, separate human beings from the forest, and we will be living.
So you're blaming him for everything?
Yes.
Mheshimiwa?
You know, Jeff, one thing that first of all I want to remind my friend is that, you know, he's not even acquitted. He's not even aware of what is happening in Mau, or he doesn't even understand this issue. This issue was sorted long time ago. Then we've got documents there that talked about the number of people, talks about the boundaries. Boundaries were demarcated a while ago. So for anyone to come and claim that there was any demarcation that was supposed to be done is playing politics. There was a report. The money that the government has sourced to settle these people, it was 18 billion. The government confirmed that the titles are genuine. Some are squatters, and they had the right to be settled. The government had identified land to settle these people, and they settled the first group in Kipkabus. They settled the next group in Soin, where is the senator. They settled another group in Nakuru. And it was supposed to be to continue for a period of time. There was almost 18 billion. So my concern today, it is not how many people are in Mau. My concern is, why do we use our people for political gain?
Yeah, they are pawns in this game.
Let me take you back. In 2007, we said Kimunya declared the titles papers. When we said we will not vote for Kibaki, let's vote for ODM. Our people voted in the ODM en masse. Then Raila Odinga, of course, started the issue of resettlement, but it did not involve the leaders. Then we said our interest is not being taken care of by the person we voted. Then we told our people, let's vote for the next dispensation, Jubilee, it will sort out our issues. We voted for Jubilee. The report was there. We've been in government 7 years down the line.
And the issue hasn't been solved.
And I'm saying the people are occupying positions. That is why I had to raise it today.
Okay, thank you for raising that, because I think it was just this morning. Monica, where's that soundbite? Just this morning, Mheshimiwa from Cherangani, Joshua Kutuny, had this to say.
I have never seen Deputy President waking up in the morning and visiting the people of Mau. We only wait until the last day when there is election. Then we make a visit to Mau. It is high time that he has to rise to the occasion and understand that the government was formed out of the interest of our people.
Oh, Senator, I'll get to you in a moment.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa, what is your beef with the Deputy President?
What is the problem with my statement? I said it very clear. And let me tell you, Jeff, before you invite me here, I'm a member of Cherangani. It is the people of my constituency, because they feel that my interest I can deal with. That is why they bestowed the responsibility of me representing them there. It is the same, the position that people are occupying today. Everybody can occupy, but people give you that responsibility. So then you deal with their interest. And I am saying today, the Jubilee, or him understands very well. He been to Mau how many times to address the issue of Mau. We must face facts. How many meetings? We've got caucuses. Has it been an issue to be discussed? Or we wait until when the elections are around the corner, or where they are facing political crisis, then they go and cry with people. And that is why I also had to raise issue with the Senator majority. He went there recently to cry. The position that he's holding is not to go and cry with the people, is to take happiness and peace to the people.
And that's your problem with the Deputy President. You say,
and I talk about all these challenges that are facing the people.
Senator, what do you have to say about that?
You need to read the hypocrisy of Joshua Kutuny. You know, Joshua, don't play politics with this issue of the Mau. It is such a grave matter that you cannot afford to be this petty. You know, Jeff, this same man, every particular Sunday, the last few weeks and months, moves around the country claiming how he's now government, Deputy President is in opposition, he's finished, you know, and you have clips of him saying how if you have 2 or 3 people that are unemployed here, give them to me, I'll employ them. I am government. So at what point does it become convenient for you to be government and Deputy President to be opposition? And when there are problems, he becomes, you know, the person that you lay your blame on. You need to see through his hypocrisy. That's why, instead of blaming, I have told you, the current dispensation, you elect a presidency. Yeah. President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. If you read through my statement, I challenged them on Sunday and said, please, Mr. President, we campaigned with you in this area together with your deputy. Can you say something to these people of Mau? Because deep inside to me, I don't see an opportunity to score cheap political points like Joshua is doing.
But you're almost forcing the president to say something.
Yes.
Why?
We want him to say something.
Why?
Because these people elected him.
There's a CS responsible for environment.
But the CS is running a personal project. That's why we have refused. We've said,
what personal project?
1 minute, Jeff, because I am not done with Joshua Kutuny.
Okay, what personal project?
You cannot allow Joshua Kutuny to get away with the fact that he wants to perpetuate a narrative where the country believes that at the level of the president and the deputy, you are supposed to be serving a particular region. I even saw him trying to insinuate that the president has only solved the issue of coffee farmers and hawkers on the street. What a shame that a senior member of Jubilee Party wants to reduce our president to be a tribal king. The president is elected to serve the entire country. So is the deputy president.
What do you say, Mheshimiwa?
He's not a king. Deputy president is not for the Kalenjin.
I want to put it very clear, and I want to put it to him that he is a senator of Kericho. All of us, we were elected. As much as when I come to parliament, I will understand the challenges in Garissa, but we are duty bound by the vote that we got to address the challenges of these people. Two, he was not there when we were forming this coalition or Jubilee, when we were campaigning for the first time. We went there. They don't know what we went through in the National Assembly. pushing the coalition government to agree to the titles and the ownership of those land. And we agreed, all of us, that this is going to be the first agenda that we are going to address. So my big question today, 7 years down the line, you want to tell me that the same people who voted for you are still languishing, they are still crying, they are still being rained upon? And remember, this is the constituency that was very fundamental in 2013. This is the constituency that gave us the 50+1. And you remember it was almost midnight when we were praying and closing our fingers that will we break? Will we jump to 50+1? This is one of the constituencies. And we promised those people that we will resettle you, we will get money. The money was available. I want to challenge the people in government. When the report was left in the deputy president office with the exit of Raila Odinga as the prime minister, what effort has it been put in place? When people start talking about the minister, this thing is beyond the minister. The report is there. It is to be implemented. There was 18 billion. Let them look for 18 billion.
Mheshimiwa, why don't you think the president has said anything so far? Why hasn't he said anything?
I cannot talk for the president. I am talking as an elected leader. I am talking as someone who participated actively in mobilizing those votes.
Mheshimiwa.
Suddenly he cannot talk for the president, but he knows so much the working owns in the office of the deputy president, the reports that were left there. You know, this man needs to get serious with us, because this particular issue, like I have said, Jeff, is too grave, too serious an issue for us to try and score quick, you know, small political shots like what Joshua is trying. I have told you, Jeff, that this particular administration, and by the way, this I say from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate what they had done with this particular group of people up to recently when Tobacco began messing things around. Because I have told you that this is an area, within the 6 or 7 years that this administration has been in government, they've been able to put up hospitals in this particular place. They have put up not 1, not 2, but 15 public primary schools built by this administration. Therefore, when he says nothing has been done, I don't know what else he expects. The only problem...
Let me ask you this, Senator. Let me ask you this. Is your problem with Tobacco the fact that he is Maasai and there's a conflict of interest?
Not even conflict of interest alone. In one of the reports that I'll show you here, and I'd wish that you read, Annex 3, you know, page 74. I want you to see part of the people that have got huge tracts of land.
Go on.
I want to find page 74 for you, and I'll show you so that you beam it. Ask him tomorrow if you think I am lying.
Yes.
Who is the person listed at number 4?
These are leaders who are not among the original members of the Enakishomi group, right?
Yes, exactly.
And are not from the area but benefited from subsequent transfers.
Yes, exactly. But you didn't read the 4th person.
I'm looking at the report first. Government Task Force on Conservation of the Mau. This is an official report.
Yes.
So what do we do with these names?
My friend, those people are conflicted, and it includes none other than Cheruiyot Tobacco.
How many acres does he have?
It is listed later on in the report, you know, as part of the people. So he is not only a conflicted person, but the fact that what he is executing, we have now been able to establish that, number 1, he doesn't have a cabinet memo for the same. This issue has never been discussed at the cabinet.
Does he need an executive order to do?
Yes.
He needs an executive order?
You know, to address an issue of this magnitude, to transfer 60,000 Kenyans, my friend. That's a serious issue.
Okay.
You cannot just wake up from your house and say 60,000 Kenyans disappear from here.
Jeff.
You agree with me that this is a serious issue?
Mheshimiwa.
Number 2, even KFS that he is using to run this operation, I'm sure you have conspicuously seen that he doesn't have the apparatus of national security with him. You can't see AP, you can't see the other police officers, because this is a personal project. Even at KFS...
No, come
Jeff,
on, you can't say the CS for environment.
Even at KFS, I want to assure you, the board is not aware of this operation.
What do you mean? There's KFS officers on the ground.
Next week on Tuesday, when he appears before Parliament, alongside the board chairperson and the board of KFS, they'll be able to document to you how he has been able to set up a system that is parallel to the institution.
Let me educate him more further. Because you see, when you are dealing with this issue of Mau, first of all, we've negotiated and we've talked about conservation of the water towers. So even the person who have the legitimate title, he has to be compensated because the government want to conserve the water tower.
Correct.
Now, there are two groups in Mau. There are those groups who have the legitimate titles and they are entitled to stay there. But then the government is saying we need to conserve the water towers. It is like construction of the road. They must be compensated at the market rate. There are those people in Mau who perhaps maybe they don't have legitimate documents. Right. They are Kenyans and they are entitled in the constitution. They must be resettled. So I want to tell Harun that it is not the person who are taking and playing politics about this thing is you have listened to you, but you are not offering solution in the conservation and at the same time resettling these people. So Jeff, we go back to the report. There were those people who had big acres of land.
Huge tracts.
Exactly. There was the discussion. And then there was the discussion about these people who don't have the documents. The government in the report, with the 18 billion that was available, they were each to be given 5 acres elsewhere. So then this forestry is conserved.
And yet,
and then there were also another group.
Yeah.
And I would want to say that the people who are even fighting this issue today, most of them are perhaps maybe on the payroll of the people with the
okay, gentlemen, we're not solving the...
Now, I want to say this.
Yes.
To solve Mau, it is not to discuss the way these guys are discussing. Let us have the task force report, get 20 billion. We resettle these people elsewhere. So and we conserve the environment.
Mheshimiwa, you want another 20 billion? You know, just...
It was available. It was available. It was even you know, then the documentation, there was 18 billion donor funding. Every other institution was willing to put money on the resettlement of these people. It was not the government. Gentlemen,
let's face it. The last year or so, there's been the river, the Mara River has dried twice.
Yep.
In the last 1 year,
yeah.
Twice. So something has to be done.
Yep.
Even as you guys politic, which is what you guys do, something has to be done because that river, if it dries up.
But Jeff, I don't know, maybe if between myself and Joshua, you're able to tell who is politicking. Because I have been very consistent on what needs to be done. That's why for every particular place that I've spoken about the issue, I've worked with my report.
You've been consistent in abusing the cabinet secretary for environment.
Listen, those are small sideshows. Let's focus on the real issues. We have said that one, if for whatever reason, the Ministry of Environment feels that the people that live in the Masai Mau Trustland area continue to pose a danger to the forest, and there's good justifiable reason because of human activities and all that, all that reason, that he needs to move them, we have said fine. There is no problem.
So why are you resisting?
But listen, this is why we are resisting. He is not following the law and the procedure that is needed. What Tobiko has done is that he has just showed up at the home of these people, innocent Kenyans who have got genuine title deed, and told them get out of here. He hasn't told them where they're going, whether they'll get any compensation. This report is very clear. It gives the government 3 options, Jeff. Number 1 is compensation.
Yes, I don't think that's accurate.
When we are dealing with people whom their interest is different, 7 years down the line, they want to tell us that they want to address the issue of Mau. Their interest has been on something else. Perhaps maybe accumulating other things. So if they had focused on the last 7 years on this issue of Mau, remember, with the report, and I want to put it very clear, even if the report had any issue, immediately we got into government. We should have tabled the report, discussed the report. It had been approved by cabinet.
So you people don't want to discuss it.
I am saying, that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm saying, now they're saying, where is the avenue? He's been the senator for how many years?
Since 17.
Is associated with who is who in there. in the government.
Oh,
Every day they fly.
You see, you're going back to that man again.
That's why I told you, this man is like the people of Cherangani sent him to Nairobi to police the deputy president. Why don't you resign as an MP
but let me tell you,
Gentlemen,
let me tell
I want to take a break.
No,
I got to take a break.
Yes. But I want to tell my friend
yes.
very clearly, this thing, it will not run away. It is going to be his responsibility, because we went there and cried with those people.
That's why they call it a poison.
And I said I will never cry again.
They call it a poison chalice, gentlemen. Let's take a break. Come back. Plenty more. Look, phase 1 of the reclamation worked. Phase 1. The Mara River
hasn't worked.
No, phase 1 worked.
It hasn't. I'll explain to you why it hasn't worked.
Okay, let's take a break. Come back. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is JKLIVE. When we come back, more questions, and then we'll read your tweets. What do you think of what's happening in the Maasai Mara? What do you think? Is it a poison chalice? Is it just politicking? We'll get the answers when we come back. Jeff Koinange Live takes a break. We'll be back.